He kicked in the door, and my sister is small, and he picked her up and he threw her.
I thought this only happened to just regular people, but then I found out who's regular. I mean, this can happen to anybody.
When you first began.
He always had a mean streak in him, which I guess I chose to look the other way.
I was in an abusive relationship for 10 years.
I ran out of the house, and he jumped in the car, and he was chasing me down the street in his van.
It's not going to stop.
He was a charmer. They just saw him bringing flowers home, and it was like, oh girl, you know, you have everything. You know, he's such a gentleman.
Oh, he was incredibly charming. He was brilliant.
He always kept a close rein, and I thought that was protection. I did. I thought that was love.
He was sexy. He was funny. He was exotic.
We were living in an Orthodox Jewish community, so anybody in that neighborhood was, you know, sided with my husband. You know, he could do no wrong in their eyes because he is an Orthodox Jew.
An abuser looks like anybody.
Afraid to go to sleep, afraid to go home, waiting for the morning to come so that you can go to work where you feel safe.
Hell. Pure hell.
This couldn't possibly be happening to me.
I was 5 months pregnant, and he beat me up, and I lost that baby. And that was the first time that he beat me up. And I felt guilty immediately that I had done something that would cause someone to hit me.
You become suicidal, and you want to do things to yourself because you figure if you're not there, they can't hurt you anymore.
You're just trying to survive. You're trying to keep from getting killed, or you're trying to keep from being hit.
I never had an opinion unless it was given to me.
You think about, am I cooking something that he's not going to like? You know, am I taking too long? You know, is he going to think I'm seeing somebody else because I'm wearing lipstick? Is he going to think that I'm not wearing lipstick because I'm just an ugly old hag?
I tried to be everything that I thought he wanted me to be. But I lost track of me, and then I didn't know who I was supposed to be.
I kept on banging on the door and saying, what's wrong, what's wrong? And then my mom always says, it's okay.
She's 9, and she witnessed the whole thing.
And he bust my mom's head right into the computer screen.
She heard him say, you know, I'll kill you, you know, she saw him push my head into the computer, everything.
And then he kept on bamming her against the door and bamming her against the door for no reason.
And she was scared, but she was also trying to break it up.
A day later, he locked us up in the room, and then he said, you lied that I beat up your mother. How could you do such a thing? He said, we'll never have a daughter and father relationship again. Since
I had her late in life, then, you know, she was, you know, just a precious gift to me. And he would get jealous of that sometime. I think if he didn't do something to me, eventually he was going to do something to her.
I feel sorry for her because she had to go through this. And she's too pretty and beautiful and nice to everyone to be treated like this.
My problem was I didn't know how to get out.
I felt like I had failed.
My mother tried to stop him, and he punched her. And then I went with him because I didn't want my mother to be hurt.
I just took it as he just loved me, and I wasn't doing something right, and I needed to figure out just what I needed to do to make things work.
And the police came. They stopped him and took him to jail. And he was out in a few hours, and he came back.
Last time he found us through our social security numbers. He went onto the internet in the library, found our addresses, and then he came.
I went all the way across the country and to my brother's house, and he called my brother's house and said if he had to come to New Hampshire to get me, that I would be dead, and I knew that was true.
I was ashamed.
You know, you have to confess that you stayed in this relationship and let somebody abuse you.
So I went outside and sat on the stoop in front of their house because I didn't want them to make a mess in their house and I didn't want them to be hurt. And I asked one of them to keep an eye on my son. So I was sitting in front of the house and they came out and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Eddie's going to come and kill me." And I didn't want anybody else to get hurt. And they said, "You're a battered woman. You can stay out here if you want, or you can come inside and we'll protect you." And so I chose to go inside.
Oh, the Women's Resource Center. That's a great place. That's our home. Home away from home.
The Women's Resource Center provides a safe place for women and their children to go to escape from a violent relationship.
They didn't have that much room, but they still took us in.
And it just felt like I had died and went to heaven.
When I first came to the Resource Center, actually I didn't even know anything about a Resource Center. I was trying to get out of a really bad situation. It was either get out or die.
Having a confidential location where women can go and be supported, I mean, it saves lives. It's the most dangerous time in an abusive relationship is when you're trying to leave.
I think I would have died that night if I didn't get help from the Women's Resource Center.
If my dad tries to even contact us or come to our school or even try to phone call us, he'll go straight to jail because the Women's Resource Center made sure of that.
I didn't know where to turn to get my son back, and they accompanied me to the courthouse that afternoon, and by later in the afternoon I was in a judge's chambers and he was signing off on it. If I didn't have their help, I know I wouldn't have had my son back that night.
The legal program is important because it provides a way for women to stay in their own homes, for children to stay in their own neighborhoods, and the man is removed from the situation, the batterer is removed, which seems to me much more fair. Women shouldn't always have to run away and survive.
More than half the women on my job were in the same situation. And I told the Women's Resource Center, and they had little pamphlets in every language that I took to my job.
They have a session for children that's great because I really needed something for my daughter as well as for myself. And they had people there that could get her to open up.
They're going to give you enough leeway to so you can help yourself, but they are going to be there for you. And every step of the way.
If you're hungry, they can find a place to feed you. If you need clothes, if you need furniture, if you just need to talk, they're there to listen. They have great ears.
The reason why the Women's Resource Center is most important to me is because it really does support the women who are there.
They gave me hope. They made me believe that I was a human being and that I did not deserve what I got. I want you to look at me and see the product of a woman who has been battered. But I also want you to look at me and see a woman who had found shelter at the Women's Resource Center.
I just started life all over again. If it wasn't for them, then I wouldn't be sitting here now.
Well, the Women's Resource Center deserves and they need